Recruitment. Meaning. It is a process of searching for and obtaining applicants for jobs so that the right people in right number can be selected. Definition. In the words of Werther and Davis, recruitment is the process of finding and attracting capable applicants for employment. The process begins when new recruits are sought and ends when their applications are submitted. The result is a pool of applicants from which new employees are selected. Sources of recruitment. The various sources of recruitment are classified into two broad categories, namely 1. Internal sources. 2. External sources. The sources included under each category are depicted in Figure 6.1. Please go through the chart. Internal sources. 1. Present employees. Promotions and transfers from among the present employees can be a good source of recruitment. Promotion implies upgrading of an employee to higher position carrying higher status, pay and responsibilities. Promotion from among the present employees is advantageous because the employees promoted are well acquainted with the organizational culture. They get motivated, and it is cheaper also. Promotion from among present employees also reduces the requirement for job training. 6. However, the disadvantage lies in limiting the choice to few people and denying hiring of outsiders who may be better qualified and skilled. Furthermore, promotion from among present employees also results in inbreeding, which creates frustration among those not promoted. Transfer refers to shifting an employee from one job to another without any change in the position/post, status, and responsibilities. The need for transfer is felt to provide employees a broader and varied base, which is considered necessary for promotions. Job rotation, as discussed in the previous chapter, involves transfer of employees from one job to another on the lateral basis. 2. Former employees. Former employees is another source of applicants for vacancies to be filled up in the organization. Retired or retrenched employees may be interested to come back to the company to work on a part-time basis. Similarly, some former employees who left the organization for any reason may again be interested to come back to work. This source has the advantage of hiring people whose performance is already known to the organization. 3. Employee referrals. This is yet another internal source of recruitment. The existing employees refer their family members, friends, and relatives to the company as potential candidates for the vacancies to be filled up in the organization. This source serves as one of the most effective methods of recruiting people in the organization because employees refer to those potential candidates who meet the company requirements known to them from their own experience. The referred individuals are expected to be similar in type in terms of race and sex, for example, to those who are already working in the organization. 4. Previous applicants. This is considered as internal source in the sense that applications from the potential candidates are already lying with the organization. Sometimes, the organizations contact through mail or messenger these applicants to fill up the vacancies, particularly for unskilled or semi-skilled jobs. Evaluation of internal source. Let us try to evaluate the internal source of recruitment. Obviously, it can be done in terms of its advantages and disadvantages. The same are spelled out as follows. Advantages. The advantages of the internal source of recruitment include the following. 1. Familiarity with own employees. The organization has more knowledge and familiarity with the strengths and weaknesses of its own employees than of strange and unknown outsiders. 2. Better use of the talent. The policy of internal recruitment also provides an opportunity to the organization to make a better use of the talents internally available and to develop them further and further. 3. Economical recruitment. In case of internal recruitment, the organization does not need to spend much money, time, and effort to locate and attract the potential candidates. Thus, internal recruitment proves to be economical, or say, inexpensive, for improves morale. This method makes employees sure that they would be preferred over the outsiders as and when vacancies will be filled up in their organization. 5. A motivator. The promotion through internal recruitment serves as a source of motivation for employees to improve their career and income. The employees feel that organization is a place where they can build up their lifelong career. Besides, internal recruitment also serves as a means of attracting and retaining competent employees in the organization. Disadvantages. The main drawbacks associated with internal recruitment are as follows. 1. Limited choice. Internal recruitment limits its choice to the talent available within the organization. Thus, it denies the tapping of talent available in the vast labor market outside the organization. Moreover, internal recruitment serves as a means for inbreeding, which is never healthy for the future of the organization. 2. Discourages competition. In this system, the internal candidates are protected from competition by not giving opportunity to otherwise competent candidates from outside the organization. This, in turn, develops a tendency among the employees to take promotion without showing extra performance. 3. Stagnation of skills. With the feeling that internal candidates will surely get promoted, their skill in the long run may become stagnant or obsolete. If so, the productivity and efficiency of the organization, in turn, decreases. 4. Creates conflicts. Conflicts and controversies surface among the internal candidates, whether or not they deserve promotion. External sources. External sources of recruitment lie outside the organization. These outnumber internal sources. The main ones are listed as follows. 1. Employment exchanges. The National Commission on Labor 1969 observed in its report that in the pre-independence era, the main source of labor was rural areas surrounding the industries. Immediately after independence, National Employment Service was established to bring employers and job seekers together. In response to it, the Compulsory Notification of Vacancies Act of 1959, commonly called Employment Exchange Act, was instituted, which became operative in 1960. Under Section 4 of the Act, it is obligatory for all industrial establishments having 25 workers or more to notify the nearest employment exchange of vacancies, with certain exceptions in them, before they are filled. The main functions of these employment exchanges with their branches in most cities are registration of job seekers and their placement in the notified vacancies. It is obligatory for the employer to inform the outcome of selection within 15 days to the employment exchange. Employment exchanges are particularly useful in recruiting blue-collar, white-collar, and technical workers. A study conducted by Gopal G8 on 31 organizations throughout the country also revealed that recruitment through employment exchanges was most preferred for clerical personnel, i.e., white-collar jobs. Employment agencies. In addition to the government agencies, there are a number of private employment agencies who register candidates for employment and furnish a list of suitable candidates from their databank as and when sought by the prospective employers. ABC Consultants, Datamatics, Ferguson Associates, SB Billy Moria, etc., are the popular private employment agencies in our country. Generally, these agencies select personnel for supervisory and higher levels. The main function of these agencies is to invite applications and shortlist the suitable candidates for the organization. Of course, the final decision on selection is taken by the representatives of the organization. At best, the representatives of the employment agencies may also sit on the panel for final selection of the candidates. The employer organizations derive several advantages through this source. For example, this method proves cheaper than the one organizations recruiting themselves. The time saved in this method can be better utilized elsewhere by the organization. As the organizational identity remains unknown to the job seekers, it thus avoids receiving letters and attempts to influence. However, there is always a risk of losing out in screening process done by the agencies. Some applicants whom the representatives of the organization would have liked to meet and select. 3. Advertisement. Advertisement is perhaps the most widely used method for generating many applications. This is because its reach is very high. This method of recruitment can be used for jobs like clerical, technical, and managerial. The higher the position in the organization, the more specialized the skills, or the shorter the supply of that resource in the labor market, the more widely dispersed the advertisements is likely to be. For example, the search for a top executive might include advertisements in a national daily like The Hindu. Some employers/companies advertise their posts by giving a post box number or the name of some recruiting agency. This is done to particularly keep own identity secret to avoid unnecessary correspondence with the applicants. However, the disadvantage of this blind ad, i.e., post box number, is that the potential job seekers are hesitant to apply without knowing the image of the organization, on the one hand, and the bad image/reputation that blind ads have received because of organizations that place such advertisements without positions lying vacant just to know the supply of labor/workers in the labor market, on the other. While preparing advertisement, a lot of care has to be taken to make it clear and to the point. It must ensure that some self-selection among applicants takes place and only qualified applicants respond to the advertisement. For this, advertisement copy should be prepared by using a 4-point guide called AIDA. The letters in the acronym denote that advertisement should attract attention, gain interest, arouse a desire, and result in action. However, not many organizations mention complete details about job positions in their advertisements. What happens is that ambiguously worded and broad-based advertisements may generate a lot of irrelevant applications, which would, by necessity, increase the cost of processing them. Here, the findings of a study 10 of 496 recruitment advertisements published in The Hindu during 1981 seem worth mentioning. It was found that 33.6% of public sector advertisements and 20.7% of private sector advertisements provided necessary information about job possibilities, tasks, and reporting relationships. As far as compensation was concerned, more of the public sector organizations provided information about pay packets rather than the private sector organizations, 71.2% as against 29.4%. Another interesting feature showed that all public sector organizations provided information on minimum qualifications, while only 18.3% of private sector organizations offered this information. Finally, only 5.6% of the public and 1.1% of the private organizations provided information on selection process. 4. Professional associations. Very often, recruitment for certain professional and technical positions is made through professional associations, also called headhunters. Institute of Engineers, Indian Medical Association, All Indian Management Association, etc., provide placement services for their members. For this, the professional associations prepare either list of job seekers or publish or sponsor journals or magazines containing advertisements for their members. The professional associations are particularly useful for attracting highly skilled and professional personnel. 11. However, in India, this is not a very common practice, and those few that provide such kind of service have not been able to generating a large number of applications. 5. Campus recruitment. This is another source of recruitment. Though campus recruitment is a common phenomenon, particularly in the American organizations, it has made its mark rather recently. Of late, some organizations such as HLL, HCL, L&T Citibank, and Grindlays, Motorola, Reliance, etc., in India have started visiting educational and training institutes/campuses for recruitment purposes. Examples of such campuses are the Indian Institutes of Management, Indian Institutes of Technology, and the University Departments of Business Management. For this purpose, many institutes have regular placement cells/offices to serve as liaison between the employers and the students. Tezpur Central University has one deputy director training and placement for the purposes of campus recruitment and placement. The method of campus recruitment offers certain advantages to the employer organizations. First, the most of the candidates are available at one place. Second, the interviews are arranged at short notice. Third, the teaching faculty is also met. And fourth, it gives them opportunity to sell the organization to a large student body who would be graduating subsequently. However, the disadvantages of this type of recruitment are that organizations have to limit their selection to only entry positions, and they interview the candidates who have similar education and experience, if at all. 6. Deputation. Another source of recruitment is deputation, i.e., sending an employee to another organization for a short duration of 2 to 3 years. This method of recruitment is practiced, in a pretty manner, in the government departments and public sector organizations. Deputations is useful because it provides ready expertise and the organization does not have to incur the initial cost of induction and training. However, the disadvantage associated with deputation is that the deputation period of 2/3 years is not long enough for the deputed employee to prove his/her mettle, on the one hand, and develop commitment with the organization to become part of it, on the other. 7. Word of mouth. Some organizations in India also practice the word of mouth method of recruitment. In this method, the word is passed around the possible vacancies or openings in the organization. Another form of word of mouth method of recruitment is employee pinching, i.e., the employees working in another organization are offered an attractive offer by the rival organizations. This method is economic, both in terms of time and money. Some organizations maintain a file of the applications and biodata sent by job seekers. These files serve as very handy as and when there is vacancy in the organization. The advantage of this method is no cost involved in recruitment. However, the drawbacks of this method of recruitment are non-availability of the candidate when needed, and the choice of candidates is restricted to a too small number. 8. Raiding or poaching. Raiding or poaching is another method of recruitment whereby the rival firms, by offering better terms and conditions, try to attract qualified employees to join them. This raiding is a common feature in the Indian organizations. For example, several executives of HMT left to join Titan Watch Company, so also exodus of pilots from the Indian Airlines to join private air taxi operators. Whatever may be the means used to raid rival firms for potential candidates, it is often seen as an unethical practice and not openly talked about. In fact, raiding has become a challenge for the human resource manager. Besides these, walk-ins, contractors, radio and television, acquisitions and mergers, etc., are some other sources of recruitment used by organizations. Evaluation of external sources. Like internal sources of recruitment, external sources are mixed of advantages and disadvantages. The following are the main advantages. 1. Open process. Being a more open process, it is likely to attract large number of applicants/applications. This, in turn, widens its options of selection. 2. Availability of talented candidates. With large pool of applicants, it becomes possible for the organization to have talented candidates from outside. Thus, it introduces new blood in the organization. 3. Opportunity to select the best candidates. With large pool of applicants, the selection process becomes more competitive. This increases prospects for selecting the best candidates. 4. Provides healthy competition. As the external members are supposed to be more trained and efficient. With such a background, they work with positive attitude and greater vigor. This helps create healthy competition and conducive work environment in the organization. However, the external sources of recruitment suffer from certain disadvantages too. These are 1. Expensive and time-consuming. This method of recruitment is both expensive and time-consuming. There is no guarantee that organization will get good and suitable candidates. 2. Unfamiliarity with the organization. As candidates come from outside the organization, they are not familiar with the tasks, job nature, and the internal scenario of the organization. 3. Discourages the existing employees. Existing employees are not sure to get promotion. This discourages them to work hard. This, in turn, boils down to decreasing productivity of the organization. Now the question arises is, where from can an organization recruit potential job seekers? Table 6.1 offers some guidance. The source that is used should reflect the local labor market, the type or level of position, and the size of the organization. Recruitment process. As was stated in the beginning of the chapter, recruitment is the process of locating, identifying, and attracting capable applications for jobs available in an organization. Accordingly, the recruitment process comprises the following 5 steps. I. Recruitment planning. A. Strategy development. I. Searching. IV. Screening. V. Evaluation and control. These are depicted in Figure 6.2. Please go through the chart. Recruitment planning. The first step involved in the recruitment process is planning. Here, planning involves to draft a comprehensive job specification for the vacant position, outlining its major and minor responsibilities, the skills, experience, and qualifications needed, grade and level of pay, starting date, whether temporary or permanent, and mention of special conditions, if any, attached to the job to be filled. Strategy development. Once it is known how many with what qualifications of candidates are required, the next step involved in this regard is to devise a suitable strategy for recruiting the candidates in the organization. The strategic considerations to be considered may include issues like whether to prepare the required candidates themselves or hire it from outside, what type of recruitment method to be used, what geographical area be considered for searching the candidates, which source of recruitment to be practiced, and what sequence of activities to be followed in recruiting candidates in the organization. Searching. This step involves attracting job seekers to the organization. There are broadly two sources used to attract candidates. These are 1. Internal sources, 2. External sources. These have been just discussed in detail. Screening. Though some view screening as the starting point of selection, we have considered it as an integral part of recruitment. The reason being the selection process starts only after the applications have been screened and shortlisted. Let it be exemplified with an example. In the universities, applications are invited for filling the post of professors. Applications received in response to invitation, i.e., advertisement, are screened and shortlisted on the basis of eligibility and suitability. Then, only the screened applicants are invited for seminar presentation and personal interview. The selection process starts from here, i.e., seminar presentation or interview. Job specification is invaluable in screening. Applications are screened against the qualification, knowledge, skills, abilities, interest, and experience mentioned in the job specification. Those who do not qualify are straightway eliminated from the selection process. The techniques used for screening candidates vary depending on the source of supply and method used for recruiting. Preliminary applications, deselection tests, and screening interviews are common techniques used for screening the candidates. Evaluation and control. Given the considerable cost involved in the recruitment process, its evaluation and control are, therefore, imperative. The costs generally incurred in a recruitment process include 18. I. Salary of recruiters. A. Cost of time spent for preparing job analysis, advertisement, etc. I. Administrative expenses, if cost of outsourcing or overtime while vacancies remain unfilled, and v. Cost incurred in recruiting unsuitable candidates. In view of above, it is necessary for a prudent employer to try to answer certain questions like whether the recruitment methods are appropriate and valid, and whether the recruitment process followed in the organization is effective at all or not. In case the answers to these questions are in negative, the appropriate control measures need to be evolved and exercised to tide over the situation. However, such an exercise seems to be only rarely carried out in practice by the organizations/employers. Having discussed recruitment process, it will be now relevant to have an idea about recruitment practices in India. The following section delineates the same.